I grew up in Troy, Alabama for the most part. I lived there for the first 14 years of my life. And then my dad's job changed. We moved about 60 miles south to a town called Dothan, Alabama, where I went 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, graduated from there. In music, I went to a church that had a great singer. I remember her to this day. Her name was Christine Dix. And I just remember her voice being the first voice that wasn't on TV. And she made me fall in love with music. My church choir. And I heard music all the time in the house. My mom and dad played all those soul music. My babysitters played 80s rock. So I got to hear music that was not just R&B, from them, and gospel music was probably first and foremost. I started performing in groups. Well, I did a fashion show. First time I was ever on stage, I was about 5 years old. It was like a Head Start graduation. And we had a fashion show. And my friend Vernon, we went out on stage. And before we went out, Vernon says, "Hey man, when we get out there, just open our jackets like this and like put our backs back to each other." Or something like that. So they called our names and we went out. We dressed sharp. We got these little three-piece suits on. And we go out to the front of the stage and we do our thing, and the people just went crazy, like, ah! And then we looked at each other, and we got scared, and we ran off stage. So I didn't perform again until probably like the 6th grade, as a part of a middle school band. I mean, there was like hundreds of us, so that was pretty easy to fall back into a group of like 100 and some people. First instrument. I tried trumpet. It was all auditions were all. It took like 5 minutes. I tried trumpet. The mouthpiece was too small. I couldn't get a sound out of it. And I tried tuba, and my lips were like flopping all inside the mouthpiece. So trombone just fit. I liked the slide, and the band director said, "All right, that's you." And that's when the journey of music began. We were playing simple marches, more like marches, because they were gearing us to go to high school marching band. So we started playing like basic suits and marches and little things. Sometimes the band director would make up. I guess that was his outlet to write and help people perform his music. I think the biggest thing that we played was the U.S. Army version of the Star Spangled Banner, with the heavy drums. That made us feel official in the 8th grade. When I was in high school, there was this group. I'm shouting y'all out, the South MCs. My boy Paul Neal and some of his friends, Keeper Cotton, a couple of other cats that were there. This was my 3rd high school, so I'm really new. These guys had a song on the radio, and they were in our school. I knew one dude from my 2nd high school, and the other one from my 3rd. I'm like, "Hey, it's cool, man. Some guys I know on the radio." And so I thought that since they were my friends, they would let me get in the group, but they didn't let me. They didn't let me in the group, and but they were so tight. I understand now. They had their thing already emotionally.
Right.
But that inspired me. Like, so I would go around. I didn't really sing anywhere. I wasn't in choir and like that. But I was like 10 years old. I got a hold of my dad's Eddie Murphy Delirious tape, and there was a skit that it's called Singers. And in that skit, he imitates James Brown, Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, Teddy Pendergrass, Elvis. I'm probably missing somebody. So I would do that skit over and over and over again to make my friends laugh. So one day this dude said, "Hey man, if you can imitate all them people, that means you can really sing, man. You need to stop faking." He kind of called me out in a good way though. So with the combination of him telling me that and my friends being on the radio, I started getting a bug for it. So I had a cousin who was a DJ. He'd go to all the clubs. He was going to introduce me to performing. And he would spin, and he'd spin all the latest hot music that was out, and then he'd put on the instrumental for me to come out and sing. And about the first 20 times I came out, and nothing came out of my mouth. I was just free, standing there. So I still wasn't ready to be a singer. I could sing, but I wasn't really interested. People kind of had to guide me that way. I wasn't really going this way. I'm glad I ended up right here, right. I ended up going to the military, and I ended up in Colorado. And one of my friends, my best friend, we used to go to karaoke, and we would sing all the songs that were out at the time. And he was like my big cheerleader, I guess. So he would come up to me after the show, and he's like, "Hey man, sometimes when you sing, people," actually he would get real excited. I'm just trying to. He would say, "Man, they stop what they're doing. Like everybody in here singing, and like people are talking, and like they're eating the food. But when you sing, they stop and they look at you." I never noticed that. I was just singing with my eyes closed. So one day we're at home and we're watching some music video, and I'm singing the song on the radio. He runs out of his room. He's like, "Man, you can really sing, huh? I write songs." I never knew this. I've been knowing this guy for like 5 years. And he said, "If I write a song, will you sing it?" I said, "Yeah, man, let's just go do it." So we went to this small studio. One of my friends' dad had a record shop with this little small studio, little box, man. And we went in there, we probably paid like $50, I don't know. And he recorded us and burned a CD for us. And it was the first time that we had a song. We didn't know what to do with it. So we decided to take that same song to a real nice studio. And that was the first time we got a quality sound. I just liked that. I liked hearing that in the because I was pretending, I guess, that I was coming out of the radio. And I guess I got the bug then. That experience was, it's funny because at the same time I was playing football to go. I had tried out for a football scholarship in Gunnison, Colorado, when another friend, maybe two weeks before, came to me and said, "Hey man, my friend's got a studio at his house. Why don't you guys go hang out? He's just coming here for like a couple of weeks." So I went to the studio, went to the guy's house, and that was the first time since that first recording. This may have been like 3 years afterwards. I still was not thinking about music. I was trying to be a super athlete. So we go to this guy's house. He's got a beautiful studio in his home. And I put the headphones on, and he put the track on, and I just started. And I spent like 2 or 3 hours in that booth and developed a relationship with that guy. And I had the intention of building a reel for myself. Like, oh, I can make a cool reel to shop to the pros or something. And when it came time to go to school, I didn't go. For some reason, I just didn't go. For other reasons but it wasn't so bad that I didn't go because I started going to the music studio. Still no band, no idea of nothing, just writing songs first. Writing with this guy, Rob Hicks from Denver, Colorado, recording a lot. And he taught me a lot about quality sound in the studio. At that time, it was like the 90s, I was hanging around a lot of rap cats. That was our music. So the big singer at the time was Nate Dogg. He was singing on all the hip-hop tracks, so I kind of was more in that mode as opposed to a romantic singer, like R. Kelly or whoever it was, Johnny Gill. That was cool. But back to that situation where we started off with a small record company, and that's when I learned how to read contracts and like everything. I kind of learned early about controlling your own destiny. Because this guy was very good. He was very smart. And I won't even say he was shady, because some people have shady experience. But I could see how like it would possibly not work out in 2 or 3 years. I just say it like that. But it was good basic training. So then I go back to working in a regular job. I still had a regular job because I didn't go to school. And there's nothing wrong with a regular job. This is a regular job to you. This is a regular job. It's not a pipe dream thing. And a friend that I worked with was a guitar player who had a band who was playing, and they didn't have a real singer. I guess one of the guys was writing songs and singing. So he brought his friend who started the band, Rich and Brian, our first band, Hypnotic, Pueblo, Colorado. And they came down and we talked one day and we went to rehearsal. And we scrounged, that's when the songwriting really began, because we needed material. I think we booked the gig, but we didn't really have no songs. They could play what they could play and I knew what I knew, but none of it was the same thing. So somewhere in that period, I think the real first song that was actually performed in front of a person, or maybe like 2 or 3 people. So I was working at Barnes & Noble, and they were having a grand opening. And the manager said, we need a band for our grand opening. Would you guys like help to do it? And that was the first show I ever booked. And they paid us, it was 4 of us, it was $100 for like 30 minutes. We made like $25 each. I'll never forget that. And the thing is, I heard so much bad stuff about people getting robbed. I knew nothing about the music business, right? I chased the man like around, like as soon as the gig was over, because I thought he might like leave the place. But he was actually the manager of Barnes & Noble at my job. He was not going to rob me. That was my first thing. Like, okay, we can make a living. But yeah, so I played in that group for about a year and a half, and I really learned a lot from Rich Roebling, because he was an entrepreneur. He had a successful company, and he kind of showed me how to build a company. And funny thing happened, we were starting to open our own company, and then I met my sweetheart, and ended up here in this group. We got jobs here with the school district, Contempt School District, and we moved here. And in 2000, had 2 kids, and I still had that music bug though, because I kind of now I'm like, hey, I live in Long Beach, I might meet Snoop. That's everybody. When you hear Long Beach, the first thing you think of is Snoop. Right? So I'm thinking Snoop. So get out here. I never meet Snoop before. I haven't met you yet, Snoop Dogg. After this interview with Sander Wolff, we shall meet and work together. Anyway, I worked with an after-school program, developing enrichment programs and sports programs for kids aged K through 5th grade. So at some point, the job was dismissed and replaced, real world, by people who made like a lot less than I made. Hopefully they did a good job. I went to Long Beach City College to study music production. And that's where real life in music began in Long Beach, California. I met some of my closest friends there and had some of the best instructors that a student could ever have, because they actually did it and they brought it to the classroom and they could show you themselves doing it. It was cool to have teachers who had gigs. But instead of just telling you what you could do, your field trip might be to go to your teacher's festival. That's a beautiful thing to see. So I met, the first person I met was a producer. His name was DeVay Dolly. And he had a TV show at Charter Cable. And we saw each other at Long Beach City, and he invited me to come on his TV show. And then we did a little music together, but TV was more his thing. And he introduced me to Michelangelo Benjamin, who was the guy who was, I would call him, like, he knew a bunch of talented people, and we all began to work together. And that's where it started. Some of these guys, like, we're still friends and work together on and off. So we did some songs together, and I started doing my first shows with them, going around just background singing a verse. I had never performed. I had studioed all, but never performed. So I was kind of terrible. I was whack. Like, I was singing loud all the time. Man, it's supposed to be a slow song, man. It's supposed to be romantic. I was just like screaming. So I was real green, man. So they helped me out a lot. So one day, I was at Cal State Long Beach during the quad noon. There was a show going on. And I happened to know somebody on the stage that was a performer who introduced me to this guy sitting there in the audience. Looked like he got the Manhattan style. He got like the curly Italian, mustache, like dressed all clean shoes. So he introduced me to this guy, and he's a promoter for New York Bryans, downtown Long Beach. This was probably like 2005 or 6. He said, "Hey man, I can book you for a show." I'm like, cool. So I'm thinking, I know like 2 or 3 songs. I'm on a show with, can do like 30 minutes. He's like, "I got you from 9 to midnight." I'm like, what? I don't have 3 hours of material, right? I know like 3 songs. So Michelangelo Benjamin and these friends, we all were able to put together a show. And and then just started meeting other artists. We met Task, who was at the time Tone Blair of On Blast and The Spell, Dusty Rose, and we all became a collective, and we started calling ourselves the Soul Shack. Include Don Bleasy, Donald Blackwood. You may see him in the community a lot. Oscar Weston. And we were packed. It was like 6 of us. We had an engineer, we had producers, a studio, and between all of us, we would book different shows. And that's how it really started to begin. And we got pretty popular. I don't know, on Wednesday nights at New York Bryant. Like, we had the line wrapped around the block, baby, on a Wednesday night. It was cool. And then that's also when we learned how to get jerked for our money, which wasn't cool. Like, this is when we saw people like raising the price of the drinks and adding cover charges, but not consulting with the band. So we had to end that relationship very quickly to learn a lot. From there, went to putting a band together, Latin soul band together called Canela Negra with Ishmael Archuleta. We played for we wrote some great songs too. Those songs will be heard very soon. And I think that was our strength, was writing together. We performed a lot, but then it kind of just, different band members coming and going, it got kind of difficult to keep a core group together. So at that point, let's see, man, band-wise, I don't think I was doing bands. I was rocking with a DJ, and showing up with friends. Dave Williams, like, he would invite me to come down and sing a song or 2 in his set, and then I kind of started floating around like that and meeting people, Shabba Fly, different artists who were already in motion. They were a little bit ahead of the game, and developing relationships with DJ Solo and Long Beach Most Wanted Studios, and started constantly writing songs. Soul Plus, I left the gap. Soul Plus, Dmitry Slaviak and Max Slaviak. Ukraine superstars. These guys were like, I guess like the Bee Gees on instruments. So we met, and we started performing from Long Beach. They lived in Northridge, so we would perform all over the place. And that's when I learned, like, that was my first or second good group where everybody was good. And I learned a lot about showmanship and sharing the stage with them. And then Max got married, real life. He got married and moved to New York. And kind of did that. And he's still married to this day with a beautiful family. So that worked out well. But during that time period, there was probably more DJ oriented because there was a lot of hip hop was like ruling then. So the DJ was the hot thing in the club, and that did away with a lot of live bands. But I guess for me, it was an easy adaptation. What's the word? Is adaptation a word? If it's not, we're gonna make it one today. Okay. Because like I grew up in hip hop, so it was kind of natural to just fall into that. So I did DJ Gloss, and we would do shows to instrumentals. I would write to popular instrumentals that were out at the time, or popular rap songs, and we would do shows like that. DJ Solo, and with DJ Solo, we actually ended up writing a song together. It's called Good Feeling, which is on our upcoming Transitions album. Due out in October, either October 7th or October 14th. I'm not sure yet. Master plan is made of students who live in different cities. So when school is out, they go home. So about 2 years ago, I had just made up my mind, I'm going to start doing music as a living. And so we started, and then the master plan took off because they had to go home. So I'm like, I gotta put together a band. So I go on Craigslist and put out an ad and put out a set list. At the same time, I see a band looking for a soul singer. I click on their link, and 80% of the songs are the same songs. It turns out that they've had gigs booked, but they lost their singer. So we talked on the phone and did a couple rehearsals. A lot of them were the same songs. And we started performing in December of 2014. Did 3 or 4 shows, and then we did a New Year's Eve party in San Pedro. And we took like a month off. That's what we were gonna originally do. And like February, it's like, that was a pretty cool gig. I liked the dudes. They were cool. And they were grown men. Like they were like very responsible. You know, I have to chase them around. They had their thing going before I even got there. And that was kind of settling. So in February, we got back together and we did a few shows, and then we decided to like, hey, let's see if we can make it work. And we've been playing together, and we've grown, man. And it's been 1.5 years now. And we've grown, and we've been playing festivals, outdoor festivals. And we play a lot of Motown, oldies, and songs that people love to dance to. We're great for any party. At first, I thought like that. I thought, it's a day job. It can get old because I'm going to be playing these same songs over and over again, a lot of times. But then a funny thing happened. I started getting these roles. I started auditioning for musicals. I started getting roles. I did a play in San Pedro called Pirates of Penzance in September, and it was singing in it. So it made me look at the cover band like, hey, I could write a musical about somebody's life. So, and it made me connect to those songs more because I started thinking about the artist more. And it opened me up to perform better for some reason. When I started studying James Brown and Sam Cooke and their lives, studying Ray Charles' actual life. Whoa. I like this dude. And it helped me, I guess, understand the lyrics of the music more. And it opened up, made me freer to perform. But your question though, yeah, the beautiful thing about having that is having the master plan, the In Contempt deal, is that I learned a lot about promotion and marketing. And I learned to be an effective booking agent. I have to keep myself working. Which transfers over into any other band now. It's like that was a year of tutelage. In real life, this is how it goes running a band. And the master plan is, man, thank you to Shy But Fly for introducing me to Eric Hirschman. I wrote these songs, I recorded them in the studio. I went to Bobby Easton had a Harville's Blues Monday Night Funk Jam 2 weeks earlier. And I went there, I think I sat in, and this dude playing saxophone, right? And I don't know what we played. But anyway, the keyboard player that night, his name was Fingers. Is Fingers, still is Fingers. Great keyboard, Long Beach keyboardist. And he said, come back next week, man, and do another song. The next week I couldn't come back, so I came back 2 weeks later with Shy. But Fingers wasn't there. Eric was playing keyboard. So I get up and did some song, I don't know what song it was. But I had a CD in my pocket. And she introduced us and we had good chemistry. I gave him my CD and he said, man, I got a live band. I got a band. The master plan was already in motion too before I got there. But we don't have a singer. We just do it out of jazz standards and invite people from school to come and sing. So I gave this dude my CD and he's like, we got you. Show up at the gig in 2 weeks. I showed up at the first gig. They knew all my songs. I was like, it wasn't perfect yet, but the skeleton of my songs was there. Like, whoa, this is different. They actually liked my music, and they went home and practiced it. And man, so then we started playing and writing, and we've been playing together about 2 years, and we're fine. The group plays on and off with other people, so we just got back together last night for our first show in about 3 months. And the core is ready to hit Long Beach this Thursday night. We have Byron Smalls on guitar, brings it bluesy swag. Eric plays keys, sax, flute. Mark and Cabo's a bass phenom. Anthony coaches on drums. We have fun, man, just like watching each other. That's all. I always thought Dave was a trumpet player, perception. He is a trumpet player, band leader, which he is. I didn't know that Dave was a hip-hop producer, a lover of all music, all genres, and creator of all music. So one day, we were sitting at his house, man, he drops these banging, like, hip-hop R&B tracks. And we just, like, vibing. We get on the mic and we just start messing around. And we had a good chemistry going on there. I'm like, oh, man, I just thought this was like the Miles Davis cat. Then I'm, like, thinking about it. We're around the same age. We grew up listening to the same music. Perception. So we worked on a project that ended up being like 12 or 13 songs. And from those songs, we are picking the best ones, reproducing them. And now Magic Bullet Theory is going to play those songs. And man, it's just going to take it like way out there. Everybody on that stage is, that band taught me how to be a fan of your bandmate. Like, they all pass the ball around and watch each other. I love that. The recording process is still in motion, but it could really see the light of day within the next month. Yeah, realistically. because we've already been recording some new songs over the past few weeks that are going to go in the set. Like we did Just My Imagination and Ain't No Sunshine. Eleanor Rigby is going to be in that set. And a couple of originals that nobody's heard yet except me and Dave and a few other people. I want to speak about my good friend Jimmy Roberts. He is the true professional musician. He is a saxophone player. He is a good friend, a mentor. He's a little older than I am. And I want to thank you, brother, if you see this, for the guidance and all of this, and for instilling the kick in my butt to get out there and do this. For writing a beautiful song called Loving You that the world hasn't heard yet, but they will. Love you, brother.